We have connected cities around the world and millions of people who inhabit them. We have worked together to overcome challenges. We have shared our experiences to inspire each other. We have made our ideas the core of our actions. Our shared goal remains the same, making food systems more sustainable, fair, safe, nutritious, inclusive and climate-friendly. Cities and territories are the beating heart of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. Our journey began in Milan in 2015. Following many months of preparation, the city was ready to host the Universal Expo on Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, and to welcome mayors from over 100 cities worldwide, gathered to sign the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.
3, 2, 1, sign!
The first ever international agreement on sustainable urban food systems was born. A document setting forth 37 recommended actions to inspire mayors and policymakers to tackle food-related challenges at the urban level. We are a thriving community, enriched by the valuable support of our partners, city networks and multilateral initiatives. All of us with a view into the future, we are looking forward to meeting again. Now more than ever, we are fully aware of the value and strength of our joint work. We are ready and happy to welcome cities, institutions and people to join us in the continuation of this extraordinary journey.
After this video introduction, welcome again to this webinar that has the aim to support the participation of the Asia-Pacific region in the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. This initiative is promoted by the Milan Pact Secretariat and the Italia ASEAN Association. Let me briefly introduce our schedule today. So after the welcome remarks, we will present you all the opportunities of being a member of the Milan Pact and showcase some innovative food policy from Milan, Bandung, and Seoul. Cities in developing their food policies can count, of course, on different stakeholders. So today we have two prominent examples. The role of university, thanks to the Parahyangan Catholic University of Bandung, and all the tools that the European Commission offers for city-to-city exchanges on this issue. So at the end, we will have a brief Q&A session for the participant that once you can writing in the chat box, and then we will reply you at the end of the speaker session. Let me remind you that the video is recorded and that we are streaming on the Facebook channel of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. So without any further delay, I would like to leave the floor to the Vice Mayor of Milan, Mrs. Anna Scavuzzo, that is in charge of the Milan food policy, and then to Alessia Mosca, that is the Executive Vice President of the Italian ASEAN Association, that are the two co-promoters of this webinar. Please, Vice Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Filippo. Welcome you all, and thank you very much for this chance we have together. I'm very pleased to open this webinar that Alessia Mosca and I strongly decided to promote. Very emotional, this movie at the beginning of our activity, and I think also very inspiring about the issue we are dealing with. I also take the opportunity to convey greetings from the Mayor, Giuseppe Sala, and as you know, and the video mentioned, is the chair of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. That's a network born in 2015, as you saw just 5 seconds ago in this brief video, during the World Expo, in which our mission was feeding the planet energy for life. And in 5 years, this network has become a dynamic and proactive global platform for more than 200 cities committed to improving the sustainability of their food systems. I think it's very important to underline that it's a tool for policymakers that consider food as an entry point for shaping the future of our cities. And it's very important cooperation and collaborations also among cities. Local policymakers have to be quite pragmatic. We know every day this is an issue for us because we need to share global goals, and at the same time we have to deliver concrete results in everyday life of our citizens. And so we can benefit from the global framework of a strategy of the Milan Pact to develop local actions. Because I think it's very important for us to remember that cities can make the difference. And so the sum of our efforts can contribute to achieve local and global goals at the same time. 80% of all food produced globally is today consumed by cities all over the world. By 2050, we expect that 2/3 of people will live in urban areas, and the huge increase will take place also in Asia. And so it's clear that developing innovative urban food policies could help our cities in defining our future strategy. I think it's very important to stand for this point of view, and it's very important that policymakers can share the responsibility to keep in mind these connections and act jointly, because we want to collaborate to achieve the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, in the next 10 years we have ahead. And in this framework, I think the Asia-Pacific region is showing increasing enthusiasm to develop food policies, as you will see later also in this webinar. And I want to thank all the speakers and all the participants to this webinar for sharing experience, practices, and ideas, first of all. I take also the chance to mention that tomorrow morning we have our first meeting of the newly elected steering committee of the Milan Pact, and we will keep on working immediately to support our cities as we did recently during the COVID-19 outbreak. I will be delighted tomorrow to welcome on board the new representative of Bandung and Seoul that will represent the support of the Asia-Pacific region. Thank you very much to these cities for their commitment, for your commitment. And as Vice Mayor of Milan, I hope this webinar will spur cities in the region to sign the Milan Pact and to strengthen the cooperation with Milan and European cities, also thanks to the opportunity that the European Commission offers us. We are working in the wake of the Italian government and the European Union that recently became strategic development partners for ASEAN. And I am glad now to leave the floor to Alessia Mosca. Thank you very much also to your staff for all the support in organizing this webinar.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's really a great pleasure for us to be co-promoter of this initiative. And thank you, Filippo. Thanks to the City of Milan for the organization and for being so active in promoting all the activities in this pact. That is something, as you mentioned, Anna, so interesting, so important to work on development, on sustainability, and to work with cities, which are the first entities that can really make the difference. So it's really a pleasure, as I said, because we as an association have been founded 6 years ago to foster relations between Italy and the ASEAN region, which is one of the most dynamic in the world. And one of the activities that we realized being one of the most interesting for us to pursue was to try to put together also the level of cities in this direction that we called the city diplomacy, because we are very much convinced that the new diplomacy, the new way of trying to fulfill our goals and try to work together and try to foster relations is working with a different level of government. And the fact that today we are here to announce also the participation of some important cities from the ASEAN region is something that for us is extremely important, because we see that our work is starting to do to give us some very good news, and in starting to witness that also this level of cities is so important if we want to build together a relation that will last and that will make a real difference in challenges, in facing challenges that need to be faced together. Last point that I want to mention, it's also important that we are here because cities are the right cities, and food are the two elements through which we can involve the youngest generation in working together for these challenges. We know that the youngest generation, both in Europe, both in Italy and in the ASEAN region, are so involved and so commitment in working for these objectives, because the future is in their hands, and this challenge touch their future so much. And the fact that we work through the city, through the food policy and the Pact of Milan is one of the ways through which we really can engage much more and allow all the youngest generation to do more and to be really active in managing what the building blocks of their future. So I stop here. I thanks again all the participants, all the people that help us to organize also our ambassadors in the ASEAN region, and all the people and the institutions that have been involved through this journey that started a few months ago, and I'm happy that brought to this webinar today, and I really hope that this can be only the first step in a future relation.
Thank you so much, Anna and Alessia, for your introduction. There are a lot of audience today, since I see some names. There are officers city officers from China, Australia, Indonesia, Japan, New Zealand, the Philippines, and Korea. So, and maybe also other officers. So we are very happy about the today audience. So without further ado, I will now introduce with the presentation the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and all the opportunities connected with being a member. Okay, if we can start with the slide, thank you. So the Milan Pact, as the Vice Mayor said, is a global commitment of mayors established in 2015 with the aim of working together for a more sustainable urban food system. It is the major heritage of Expo 2015, together with the Milan food policy that Andrea Magarini will present in a while. The pact was officially signed by 100 cities in Milan during the World Food Day at the presence of the UN Secretary General. It provides the text. It's not just a declaration, let me say, but it's a tangible platform for mayors and officers, thanks to its framework of action that contains 37 recommended actions, and you can see the 6 cluster of action, the framework for action. You can see, for example, governance. I will make some example to make it more concrete. Governance, so for example, the way in which cities involve food stakeholders in the policy making, sustainable diets and nutrition, the management, for example, of the school canteens and the way in which we promote healthy diets, social and economic equity. So the way in which we use through local policies food as an entry point for a disadvantaged group of population. Food production, so for example, urban and peri-urban agriculture. Food supply and distribution, all the logistic, all the policies connected to the logistic of food. Think, for example, about open food market, and then all the action connected to prevent food losses and waste. So each city decided its priority, of course, inside this framework, and then works together, speaking in a sense the same language with other like-minded cities that shared similar challenges around the world. So shortly, just to give you some example, we will listen to the different policies inside this framework for action from Milan on food waste, from Bandung on food production, and from Seoul on the governance of the food system. The next slide will give you a quick overview of the main activity of the Pact in the last 5 years. So we gathered 6 times globally and 14 times at regional level. Our governance is guaranteed by a steering committee of 13 cities that has been recently elected. And we collected 370 good practices from signatory cities that are approved by their mayors and that are our common food policy knowledge. So I will present now this number more in detail. And let me begin with the next slide to present how we animate this platform of cities and of course of people. So firstly, we organize a global forum in which mayors, officers, but also international and regional stakeholders can meet together in a 3 days forum. You can see some pictures here of Milan in 2015, then at the FAO headquarters in Rome, then Valencia, Tel Aviv, and Montpellier. The last picture is the 2020 edition, so our 5-year anniversary. We decided to organize an event that celebrate our 5 years, and you can see the recordings on the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact YouTube channel. And what about 2021? We will hopefully meet in Barcelona next October. So we are looking forward to it. Of course, since we know that cities are facing more similar challenges in their geographical area, the Pact also promotes our regionalization process. So allowing cities and also regional stakeholders to meet and exchange knowledge in their regions. This process is active now in Europe, Africa, South America, and Eurasia. In the next slide, you will see a glimpse of what the Milan Pact Awards is. It's the most powerful tool to push cooperation among cities. It's a joint initiative of the Carpel Foundation and the Milan municipality. Basically, every year, we ask signatory cities to submit their most innovative food policies connected to the Pact framework. You can see here a map of these 5 editions. Every year, an international jury of experts evaluate the practices and awards the most innovative ones. The awards are then a monetary prize used to pay the knowledge transfer to other deserving cities. In 5 editions, as I mentioned, we gathered 370 practices that are our, in a sense, living library of food policies and are at the basis of the city-to-city exchange. Of course, all these policies are available for signatory cities. Also, let me mention that in 2020, to give support to cities in need, we launched a special edition of the awards, and we asked signatory cities to submit during the COVID-19 outbreak short videos in which they were explaining their immediate response to the shock of the urban food system. So from food aid to healthy diets to recovering the food economy, for example. All of these materials are on our YouTube channel. Let me now present a picture of the Asia Pacific region, so the situation of in Asia Pacific. It's a region that is increasingly active on food policy, and they can provide some example of this. So to date, we have 15 signatory cities. The last one is Tokyo Metropolitan Authority that signed last February, and I'm happy to see the representatives online today. It is the less represented region in terms of cities, but is the most represented one in terms of population, with more than 130 million citizens. So from the information collected, we know that at least there are 48 non-signatory cities that are active on food policies, and we are looking forward to having them in the pact shortly. Thanks to the awards, signatory cities have shared just in 2020 19 best practices on COVID-19, and for the first time in this newly elected steering committee, we have two representatives that are the city of Bandung and the city of Seoul for its second mandate. They will play a primary role in animating the network in the region. Lastly, let me say that for now, we haven't celebrated a regional forum in Asia Pacific, but as we notice that the interest and the need to act also is growing fast, we believe that with you, we can fix these gaps soon. So to conclude, how to sign the pact, because this is the question, I think. To sign the pact, it's very easy. Can be member of the pact cities and metropolitan areas. You just need to send an email to the Milan Pact Secretariat. You can see, I will put them in the chat. You can see the email address. Present your willingness to be a member, and you need to provide us a subscription form signed by your mayor. Please note that there are no fees at any stage of the process. So once you join, you will then enter in an international network of vibrant cities that want to learn and exchange food policy knowledge to meet our common goals. So I come to the end of my presentation. You have all the contacts here. Also, please follow us in our social media, and if you have questions, please write them in the chat. I will now leave the floor to Andrea Magarini, that is the coordinator of the Milan food policy. He will introduce you the food policy of Milan with a particular focus on food waste reduction and circular economy for food. Thank you.
Thank you, Filippo, and thank you to all of you here connected. Now you are in 93, so a huge participation from Asia Pacific cities. And so as Filippo mentioned, I want to show some cases to how a city like Milan and then like Bandung and like Seoul are implementing this joint commitment of a Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. Milan decided in 2014 and 15 to study its food system, and so try to connect all the dots from production, transformation, logistics, consumption and waste, and all the action that the city are managing in that period, and on the different policies that are connected each other. So we work to connect the different dots and to try to implement an innovative urban food policy. And at the end of this process of analyzing our food system, the City Council approved 5 priorities to implement our food policy. And food waste reduction and food waste prevention was one of a much more well-developed until now. So it became one of the most important actions, and so we started to implement 4 of the recommended action that Filippo mentioned. So in a total of 37 recommended action of the Milan Pact, 4 are fully oriented to food waste. And so the 34 action are convene food system actors to assess, monitor the food waste reduction, then raising awareness on food losses and food waste. The third are collaborate with the private sector, and the last one, save food by facilitating recovery and redistribution for human consumption. So we started with the first one by convening different food system actors in a set of community of practices year by year on different topics, and also food waste was one of them. And in this kind of fora, we try to map the different actors, their infrastructure, their activities, their needs, and so we start a relation between the municipality and all of these stakeholders and shareholders of Milan. And based on this initiative, we started with some action in the school canteens, in which we share with our municipal agency for school canteen named Milano Ristorazione, and the CEO is here connected, Bernardo Tarangelo, in which we share with about 60,000 of doggy bags for children that can take their home the leftover of lunch, so bread, fruit, and yogurt. And so in this kind of community of practices, we also start to activate direct donation from big public infrastructure of our food system. So the school canteens that in Milan are fully managed by our in-house municipal agency, and also to our fruit and vegetable wholesale market. And so are 2 big infrastructure in which food losses are generated. And so from one side, we try to reduce the quantity of food losses, and for the other side, for the losses that we are unable to reduce, we activate direct donation for charities and local organizations that at the end donate and redistribute this food for the people in need. Another action that we implement in 2017, and here you can see some KPI of the quantity of donation. Another action that we implement is a waste tax reduction, in which we try to reduce the 20% of the waste tax reduction managed by our municipality for the private sector that at the end donate their leftover, their food surplus. And so we were able to map all the retailers, supermarkets that are participating in some projects. And this action was very important to activate the first map of all the private sector that are active on food waste reduction and redistribution in Milan. And by mapping them and by knowing much better this sector, we start also an innovative project, so named Local Food Waste Hub, on which the municipality provides smallest spaces, smallest buildings that are well spread in all of our different neighborhoods, and involving, here you can see different logo of this company, of these retailers, involving them in a set of local networks to collect food losses and to distribute these food losses for the charities and for the people in need. And the system is very simple, and so we connect more or less for each hub 11 retailers and 5 private canteens. In the morning, a smaller van go to this kind of retailers to collect their losses, and then moving stock them in the hub more or less in the half of the morning. In the afternoon, the different charities go directly in the hub and take their mix, their food, the food that we need. And per each year, we are able to save in each hub more or less 120 tons of food. There are more or less 240,000 of meal per year. This action is very important because also we engage our university that facilitating the perfect and direct daily monitor of this system. And month per month, they share with us and also with these retailers the specific quantity of food recovered and also the quantity of donation on the total of surplus. And this facilitating also to reduce the quantity of losses, so to prevent the food waste. All of these actions are in the whole system of circular economy for food that the city of Milan is implementing. So directly from our municipal agency for school canteen, wholesale market, and also with all the retailers engaged in this system, we are able until now to see a donation from more than 2,500 of tons that are now redistributed. So food losses that doesn't become food waste and become food donation. And in the whole system of circular economy, we are also understanding how we can exploit all of our bio-waste fluxes. All of these know-how that I present you are also recorded in a set of online training on which we record in different actors based in Milan. So the different people that allowing the municipality to achieve this goal, because as in all of the city in which we are working, we know that these actions are orchestrated for the municipality, but are implemented from different actors. And so if you are interested to participate in this online training, please write an email to Filippo and to the MUFPP Secretariat that then can share the link for this online training. So thank you very much for your attention. I leave now to Filippo to the other intervention. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Andrea, also for sharing these interesting opportunities for cities. The training actually is very good, so please write us if you want to know more. Now it's time for Bandung presentation. So I would like to give the floor to Bapak Gingin Ginanjar, Head of the Food and Agriculture Department of the city of Bandung, that will introduce you the food policy with a particular aspect, as I mentioned before, on how they promote urban agriculture and short supply chains. Please, Mr. Gingin.
Thank you, Filippo. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to share our experience to all of you. I am Gingin. I will share about how Bandung City can establish food security with several limitations and during COVID-19 pandemic. This presentation entitled the Bandung Food Policy Promoting Urban Agriculture and Short Supply Chain. Before present, I would like to show to all of you just a little the Bandung overview.
A lot has changed over the last few months. Maybe this is a chance for the world to heal and breathe. We just have to wait patiently until we return to get the amazing journey together. When this is all over, and when the time comes for trial, we will be here for you. And for your convenience, we always ensure to get the best service. You must be ready to see the richness of amazing cultures. Ready to create wonderful memories with remarkable people. Ready to get precious moments that you'll never forget. We hope to see you here when the time is right. Stay home today and see you tomorrow.
Okay, dear audience, we have already defined our food policy in our planning document. by signing the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, we want to get involved in global city food problems and contribute to the solution. Today, we want to give an example how we commit to our 7 commitment to develop sustainable food system and to encourage other cities to join our food policy action. We had quote that our late and first president of Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Sukarno said, "Food is just a matter of life and death for certain nation. If the food for the people is not available, it will be disaster. Therefore, it needs a serious, radical, and revolutionary effort or deed." City of Bandung as a city provides service, metropolitan and not agriculture producer. Because Bandung almost does not have productive farming land or area. Through our vision to make Bandung excellent, comfortable, prosperous, and religious, we have been working very hard to build up food security on family and community basis through Bandung Integrated Urban Farming, BIUV, or we call Buruan Sae, healthy, natural, and economic yard. Buruan mean front or and backyard, while Sae means good, but also abbreviation from Sehat Alami Economies, mean healthy, natural, and economical. Let me show you, these are the picture of Buruan Sae. This illustration show to us of how home garden or up and productive land is used to develop Bandung Integrated Urban Farming or Buruan Sae. We are happy to make our home garden greener and productive. Every single inch of our home garden give us the result of cultivation, not only vegetables, medicinal plant and fruit, but also fish, eggs, meat, seedling, or organic fertilizer from our organic waste. Then we also process the product of Buruan Sae to be product that have high economy value. This picture are an example of a vertical garden as part of the type of Buruan Sae, where vegetable is planted in our fence in the small area or unproductive yard on area around home, to be planted with various food which can fulfill the family food consumption and reduce family food spending. We also expand Buruan Sae by using river banks or in above the river body itself according to community initiative or by using side of the road. We also creating Buruan Sae in front of our public buildings such as mosque or sub-district office. We also expand Buruan Sae by using our top of house, then we usually called roof garden. This picture describe type of Buruan Sae that we call hydroponic inside the screen house, the left side. In some area we use we call OTG or organic tower garden as our simple technology by using stuff like bucket or bowl for those who don't have land or space. We package our vegetable and some of them is for sale to make our Buruan Sae sustainable. Nowadays, many people get the result. The people of Bandung are not farmers. Even many of them do not know about farming. But now, through Buruan Sae, farming is becoming part of the people of Bandung lives.
Bahasa Inggris.
Even it become new lifestyle for Bandung's people. In this picture, we share our food for the need and stunting with my wife, Demaya. Also, buruan saya is not only integrating various food, but also integrating many strategic program of Bandung City, such as reduce, reuse, and recycle. Bandung respond to stunting with safe and healthy food, as well as strengthening family nutrition through pregnant and breastfeeding women, strengthening of family economic, community empowerment or community development, education and agriculture tourism, economic acceleration recovery program. Ladies and gentlemen, buruan saya is set up through some stages to get the result and benefit for the grower and surrounding household. And buruan saya is supporting by many gardening groups, almost 151 sub-district. Their initiative is beneficial for sustainability of our buruan saya program. Since buruan saya has some driving factor in its implementation, we are open to collaborate with other parties. Therefore, we need to optimize role of internal and external stakeholder. Ladies and gentlemen, and something very interesting is now become trendy is strengthen immunity, happiness, even during this global pandemic of COVID-19. Buruan saya program is able to keep sustainability through non-pesticide farming development program, trust decompose to become organic fertilizers, able to produce seed, community development, extra family income integrated with various sector and department, as well as market availability. Ladies and gentlemen, madam and herren, senior and seniorita, I am expecting to the people around the planet Earth to take advantage of our program. Any advice, critique, technical matter, or any new knowledge in order to speed up our program send will be highly appreciated. Thank you very much. Hamsamida, Gracie, Wedang, Bances Gracias, Obrigado, Hatur Nuhun, see you, wassalam. Thank you.
Excellent. He's smiling. Thank you so much, Bapak Gingin. Terima kasih banyak pidato Anda. And thank you also for your offer to showcase your amazing project, Buruan Saya. It's now my pleasure. If you have some question for the speaker, please write them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer you. So now let's move to aspect connected to the governance of the food system with the team leader of the food policy division of the Seoul Metropolitan Government, Mrs. Jung Jin-soo, that will talk about the innovative and inclusive governance for a Seoul food strategy. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jin-suk Jung, team leader of the Food Policy Division of the Seoul City government. Today, I'd like to introduce the innovative and inclusive governance of the Seoul food strategy. The development of the Seoul food governance is largely divided into three stages of formation, implementation, and expansion. Since 2015, the Seoul city government has been cooperating with other local government by inviting local experts and citizens to our strategy implementation process. This has allowed us to benchmark other states' best practice and cooperate better. Also, we have signed MOUs with other states to support rural area to thrive by supplying their local food to public meal service in Seoul. We've also held town hall meetings to reflect citizens' opinions on devising the food master plan, which was aimed at establishing a safe food system. Finally, on June 20th, 2017, Seoul became the first city in Korea which announced a declaration of basic food rights and established a comprehensive food plan. The future push ahead with our strategy of becoming Seoul a sustainable food city. We announced the 2020 Master Plan for Food. Based on this, we proudly kick off the Citizen Committee for Food, which has been touted as a good example in private and public governance. With the committee members, we have been discussing projection for the 2020 Food Master Plan and the elections for the Food Strategy 2030. While we are launching search efforts in Korea, we have actively engaged with the Milan Urban Food Forest Pact. Based on our experience of active engagement with food governance projection at home and abroad, Seoul has finally come up with the Food Strategy 2030, upholding 6 major values of health, security, co-prosperity, community ecology, and happiness. Seoul City signed the MUFPP in 2015 and received an MUFPP award in the sector of food supply and distribution. During the first Global Forum held in September 2018, by being recognized for our successful public meal service policy, designed for urban and rural co-prosperity. The services mentioned at the second MUFPP Steering Committee for a 2-year term starting from February 2019. In April this year, we were selected again as a member of the third MUFPP committee. We've been attending the MUFPP Global Forum annually and submitting for the Pact Award. We are also continuing our discussions with other MUFPP states on food issue by hosting an annual international conference in Seoul. In 2017, the city announced the 2020 food master plan, envisioning Seoul the sustainable food city under the vision of upholding for core value of health, security, safety, and co-prosperity. We implemented 26 policy tasks in 5 areas. While engaging with discussions at home and abroad, we started asking ourselves questions about good food. 1. What is a strategic food system that can deal with climate change and COVID-19? 2. How can we change the current food production and consumption patterns, considering the environment and the quality? 3. How can we strengthen our food system in terms of quality and quantity to secure basic food rights? We contemplated ways to apply sustainability to the food production and the consumption system, and make change in the lives of citizens by encouraging a sense of responsibility for future generations. In the face of issues such as climate change, industrialization of agriculture, and COVID-19, we realized that we should complement our existing model by interweaving aspects like environment, space, society, and economy into our policy tasks. After going through a thorough contemplation process, we finally came up with the 2030 strategic framework in 2020. First of all, to achieve the goal of the sustainable city, we established the 6 core values. The sustainable food system we are envisaging is encompassing areas like blended production, environmental guardianship, social economy, fair public procurement, ethical consumption, and resource recycling. To realize this goal, the system should be supported by police and budget, but most importantly, our citizens who are at the center of the food system should be given the ownership to run it with values of cooperation, governance, and solidarity. As a result, we set a vision of Seoul, the sustainable food city for citizens. Under the vision, 6 values and 6 major policy directions were established to implement 20 police tasks. We are currently in the process of establishing a 5 years basic plan and an implementation plan. The 2030 basic plan for food is in line with the SDGs as well as the goal and 37 detail the tasks of the MUFPP. As I mentioned earlier, Seoul City is operating the Food Citizen Committee, which is recognized as a successful private and public governance example. This shows commitment to the continuous and expanded implementation of food policies. The committee is composed of 110 food experts from fields, academia, public sector, city government, and the public servant, while promoting advanced food governance practices at home and abroad. Seoul City has made achievements of follows. First, we have been leading from policies by enacting the nation's first audience and the declaration of the basic food rights, as well as forming the Citizen Committee. Second, we've been introducing policies where are encouraged to participate through public and private governance. Third, we received the MUFPP award and have promoted the city's good practice by hosting international conference. Lastly, we have established the food strategy 2030 by devising 6 core values, 6 policy directions, and 20 policy tasks. In the face of many changes, including climate change, cities need to implement advanced policy together by diagnosing global issues and considering future solutions. Therefore, we have to continue to cooperate with other states to establish a sustainable food system. This would encourage global citizens to transfer their food production and consumption patterns. As we have devoted ourselves to this effort, we will continue to commit ourselves to achieve this goal together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you all the cities that showcasing their best food practices. As we see, there are food policies on governance, on food production, and on food waste. So now let's move to the part dedicated to the stakeholder engagement. So we know that fortunately, we are not alone in achieving our goals. There are a lot of local, regional, and international partners that work with cities to achieve our goals. So let me introduce you Bapak Pius Sugeng Prasetyo, that is the Dean of Faculty of Social and Political Science of the Parahyangan Catholic University in Bandung. He will showcase how a university can support cities in implementing food policies and also incorporate with other cities through the concrete examples of the work done, the excellent work done in Bandung. So Bapak Pius, the floor is yours. Thank you. Okay, we can see the presentation, but we cannot hear you. Your micro is off.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Filippo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pius Prasetyo from Parahyangan Catholic University. And thank you very much for this great opportunity, of course, to take part as a speaker here. And I want to share concerning the role of universities to support urban food policy. Actually, I want to share our experiences in terms of collaboration among university, in this case, my university, Parahyangan Catholic University, with city government of Bandung, and which is strongly supported by international NGO, Recall to FECO, Indonesia representative. So thank you very much for this great collaboration. Okay, I will start from the background that departing from the departing from the food issue at the global level, university can carry out their role in accordance with their academic competencies by involving stakeholders related to urban issues. As we know that concerning the issue of food, we face the fact that at the global level, that there is an imbalance where every 15 minutes a person dies in several places due to hunger, while millions of people in developed country die from obesity. I read this from the website from Australia, so I think this is an issue and maybe still until now. In addition, inequality also occurs between residents in a country, perhaps also between villages and cities. So sometimes we see that still there is a big gap between countries and also even villages and city. This imbalance has become a global concern as reflected in Sustainable Development Goals, point 2, the zero hunger, and also the Sustainable Development Goals, point 12, responsible consumption and production. Then the strong concern of various countries is also reflected in the points of commitment of the Milan Pact, which basically supports the creation of sustainable production and consumption. So what about the positioning of the university? The role of higher education as it is also reflected in the commitment of the Milan Pact. Recommended action number 3, for example, if we read in Milan Pact, so we can read that identify, map, and evaluate local initiatives and civil society food movements in order to transform best practices into relevant programs and policies with the support of local research and academic institution. So explicitly in this Milan Pact, the academic institution is written and explicitly that the Milan Pact hope that the involvement of university to uphold this commitment. University as an academic institution can support the city by carrying out academic activities such as research, or maybe also making a kind of a publication Then also developing collaboration with government and non-government actors, and also promoting steps to build a food smart city. So our concern is how to support the city of Bandung in this case to build as a Bandung as a food smart city. University can also take the initiative to introduce program in collaborative format, as I have already mentioned, such as the case in Bandung City, which is a collaboration between my university, Parahyangan University, and the Bandung government city, and also Ricolto Feco, and of course the local NGOs. This program was developed to realize Bandung as a food smart city. Then let me show you our activities that what I want to share to show that what kind of activities that we have already done and what will be done for the next time. Since the year 2018, my university, Parahyangan, initiate activities carried out in 2018, began with a survey of 500 people of middle class group in 30 sub-districts in the city of Bandung. So we make a research and or survey with the sample around 500 people. This research regarding the responsibility consumption and perception of expired food. So we focusing on responsible consumption and the perception of expired food. The survey results show that respondents tend to have an excessive attitude in shopping for food and tend to throw away the food scraps or do not want to buy the expired food. So I think we can discuss about that issue concerning the expired food. From the survey result, we make a focus discussion group activities, and the discussion and the result will be used to build the commitment of various stakeholders. So we strengthening the commitment from the stakeholder to reduce food waste. How to reduce food waste, especially in Bandung City, by strengthening the commitment from stakeholders. Including also the book publication, we also publishing the book. And also we met the mayor of Bandung City in order to get the institutional support. So I think this is really implemented that the government of Bandung, Pak Gin here, the head of Department of Food Resilience and Agriculture, really active in supporting the in building a food smart city. And also we also engage another department in the Bandung city government. The various ideas that emerged were then disseminated in the seminar, which were essentially to strengthen and commitment to build a food smart city. Then let me introduce you the program or activities in 2019. The program and activities carried out basically made in a sustainable manner so that there is a continuity between activities from year to year. So we try to make a kind of continuity activities. The findings from the survey in 2018 regarding consumption behavior and perception of expired food then become the basis for activities in 2019 to take educational step in the form of public awareness about the importance of reducing food waste. So we understand that in order to reduce food waste, it should be a kind of activities in terms of developing or raising public awareness. The awareness raising activity is carried out in school using simulation method with games. So as you know that student very it's very common for the student to play a games. So we can use that tools or system to promoting this issue. From the games, it is hoped that there will be change in attitudes and behavior of the younger generation towards food problems. The survey was also continued in relation to the attitudes and commitments of food procedure, such as food producer, such as restaurant, hotels, bakeries, with the aim of knowing the food waste management practices. So we try to know from the food producer. From these findings, a joint FGD was conducted with the government to build a joint commitment in reducing food waste. The involvement of younger generation, so we also engage the younger generation, especially students of university, was also carried out by participating in the event of Bandung Agri Market. As you know that in Bandung, before pandemic, we have what we call it Bandung Agri Market. Yeah, so from the urban farming, they come together in the city of Bandung in the office, so they make a event. Students can also participate in campaigning of food issue, especially to reduce food waste. And also, again, we meet the mayor in order to find the support to be involved in the wider forum, particularly in Milan Pact. As you know that our mayor has already signed the Milan Pact. And for this, thank you very much for Filippo that facilitated the Bandung government, especially the mayor, to be the member of Milan Pact. So thanks for Filippo. So let me introduce the program in 2021. So entering the following year, the activities are still related with the previous year. Activities initiated by our university are more related to the commitment which is stated in Milan Pact, which is in this case is urban farming. So we focusing on urban farming. And these activities involve many parties, both local government and non-government groups, and also university in this case becomes the actor to let's say make a kind of direction and facilitate budgeting with its support from the external parties. In this case, Ricolto, FECO have a strong support to these activities. The university also encourages activities to support the Bandung city government policy in reducing food waste by creating a web-based food sharing system and Android application. So we create a food sharing system, web-based and application, Android application. By making the system, it is hoped that the system will facilitate people and food producers to donate food for those who need food assistance, such as orphanages or street children, homeless people. And in this case, the university also facilitate communities to provide assistance, such as small medium enterprise as a food producer, which will be accommodated in the food sharing system. So we also make a kind of mentoring, especially to the small medium enterprise as a food producer, and then they can engage in the system. The use of digital media is also carried out by making games for school children, as well as making the Bandung Food Smart City website, including Facebook, Instagram, and also blogger competition. Our university lecturers also documented activities by writing books and with the topic building or activity awareness to reduce food waste. So our our next program, so which is already in terms of collaboration, which is supported by Recall to FECO, then our University of Parahyangan team discussed with the Bandung City of Government, especially the Food Resilience and Agriculture Department, Pak Kinkin here. We plan a kind of research. There will be 3 research with the topic of the effectiveness of urban farming, and the second one is supply chain, and also eco-labeling. And the aim is to obtain data related to the yield and economic benefits of urban farming, which currently, as Pak Kinkin already mentioned, we have around 151 spots, yeah, spreading throughout the city of Bandung. Yeah. So we have 150 urban farming in Bandung. And in addition, it is also determined the food supply chain in the city of Bandung, that most of which are supplied from areas outside the city of Bandung. And another one is...
Please, Pius, can you go to the conclusion?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is the last, the last slide. That our final note is that university has various meaningful roles, from introducing ideas, facilitating, and also being directly involved in activity such as awareness campaign, proposing the city government policies, and also collaborating with various parties, both with city government, non-government parties, to participate in building Bandung Food Smart City. So that's what I can share to you. Thank you very much again for this opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
Terima kasih banyak. And so this is a important way of supporting the city. And so thank you for showing it. Also, I can see some. Also, thank you for mentioning the important role of Recall to Vehicle that is working with you. And also, I can see from what you said a lot of connection with the food policy of Milan, from waste reduction to the food wave project. It is a EU financial project on awareness raising on food habits. So, as we are talking about the European Union and the European opportunities, it's my pleasure to give the floor to Ms. Henriette Fegerman, that is the first consular of the delegation of the European Union to Indonesia and Brunei. She will tell about the opportunity to strengthen the food policy in the region, all the opportunities that the European Union offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, dear colleagues in Asia, and good morning to colleagues in Europe. So my name is Henriette Fagerman, and I coordinate the environment and climate action at the delegation of the European Union to Indonesia and Brunei Darussalam, and the EU mission to ASEAN. Thank you very much for inviting me to deliver a few remarks at the end of this very interesting webinar. As we have seen from this very interesting presentations from Milan, Bandung, and Seoul, urban food policy can really make an important contribution to reduce the CO2 emissions and mitigate the effects of climate change. For this, city administrations need to work together with schools, universities, as we saw in the last presentation, hospital, corporate canteens, and all other stakeholders to make sure that both we develop meals that are balanced between health and sustainability, using menus that have a smaller environmental footprint and also focus on reducing food waste, as we have seen. Right after the launching of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact in 2015, the European Commission launched the Food 2030 initiative to transform the food system by involving researchers, European member states, industries, regions, cities, and citizens. This initiative is supporting the establishment of city labs and food labs that facilitate concrete actions on how to get to the sustainable and future-proof food systems, very similar to what we have seen from the presentations today. Moreover, the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact also fits very well with the Farm to Fork strategy, which is the EU's new policy for a fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food system. The European Union, as you probably know, is at the forefront of the fight to avert the worst consequences of climate change, and our foreign policy is aligned with those objectives. The European Green Deal is our new growth strategy, which puts the efficient use of resources and the circular economy at the heart of our economic development and of the post-COVID recovery. The Green Deal will rethink and modify all aspects of our economy and society towards achieving the target of zero net emissions of climate gases by 2050, including by food systems. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, I would like to present some of our initiatives to support cities in Asia and ASEAN to cooperate with peers in the European Union in several areas of sustainable urban development and climate action. On the one hand, the International Urban and Regional Cooperation IURC project has been launched just a few weeks back, and it aims at creating decentralized cooperation among cities. Over the next 3 years, the EU will support geographic pairing, thematic cluster trainings, and knowledge exchange session among over 30 cities from Asia and Australasia and counterparts in the European Union member states. Sustainable urban agriculture and food systems are among the key sub-themes of cooperation. Interested cities from Asia may contact project colleagues that are also present here in the call directly to get further information. The contact will be made available by the organizers of this event, or you can simply just click on www.iurc.eu. So iurc.eu. I think you can see that this can be very beneficial, that we can share examples such as the ones we have seen today, and also other examples that we have developed in Europe that can be of inspiration and benefit to many cities across the globe. On the other hand, we also have, as the European Union, been supporting the implementation of the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy Action, which is called GCOM in Asia. The GCOM is the largest global alliance for city climate leadership, built upon the commitment of the 10,000 cities, over 10,000 cities and local governments. These cities come from 6 continents and 140 countries, including many cities in Asia. Since 2017, the EU has supported training and capacity building activities in many cities across Asia, including in India, Indonesia, China, Korea, Malaysia, and Vietnam. In these countries, cities have been developing climate action plans with the purpose of reducing CO2 emissions at the city level. Also, most recently, the EU has launched our Asian Smart Cities program, which will also offer plenty of cooperation opportunity on sustainable development, including sustainable food for cities in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to see today's examples of city engagement on sustainable food system, and I'm looking forward to explore the many opportunities for cooperation in one of these initiatives that I mentioned. And let me end by mentioning that just next week, on the occasion of the Earth Day celebrations, here in Indonesia, we will organize an event which will focus on sustainable food production and the links to biodiversity. I invite you all very warmly to participate in this. You will find the information on the EU delegation to Indonesia's social media platforms. Thank you so much for your attention, and I really look forward to cooperating on this.
Thank you so much, Henriette, for showcasing all the important initiatives that you are leading, also for Asian cities and for spurring cooperation among European cities and Asian cities. So now we move to the Q&A session. Before that, if you want, you can, while people are thinking about their questions, if you want to switch on your camera, we can do a mosaic picture that we will then post on our social channels. So if you wish, just turn on your cameras, and in the meantime, think to some question to our speakers. Okay. So let me start by a couple of announcements, very important announcements. I would like to ask Mrs. Julie Giuffre from the city of Sydney if she can tell us a little bit more about their willingness to join the pact.
Thanks, Filippo, and thank you for convening this incredibly informative and inspiring session. I think it's been fantastic to hear from the amazing work that's been done across the globe and through cities in our own Asia Pacific region. And yeah, I'm very thrilled to announce that the city will be signing the pact and will be joining the network of cities across the globe involved in this conversation. And we're really looking forward to learning what other cities are doing and sharing the wonderful work that we're doing in our own city. And I'd just like to give a big shout out to Alana Mann and Katrina McMillan from Food Lab Sydney, who we've been working closely with on a project around incubating small social enterprises addressing food insecurity in their communities. So big shout out to those guys who've been wonderful collaborators, and we look forward to future collaborations with other people in the PACT network. Thanks, Filippo.
Thank you so much. We are very happy to welcome you. And now I leave the floor to Donna Wilson from Wellington.
Kia ora koutou, ko Donna Wilson tōku ingoa. My name's Donna Wilson. I'm the Community Resilience Advisor for Wellington City Council. We're really excited to be involved with the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. We're working our way through our draft action plan as we speak, and we're just about ready to come and join the rest of the nation. So we're really excited. Thank you so much for such a brilliant webinar, all of the speakers, and we're really excited to be involved and learn from the rest of the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I have some, an important announcement, some useful information for cities, and also a question for Bapak Gingin, ada pertanyaan untuk Bapak Gingin from Pablo Gandara, if you wish to take the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Before I answer to Pablo Gandara, I would thank you to Floren Fardo and Prima Interpares Ricolto for your response. Also, to answering to Pablo Gandara, Bandung City has no formal cooperation yet. We open to other city to adopt our Buruan Sai program. We also open to suggestion to make our program better. Therefore, Bandung City food dependency will decrease. But our gardening communities has informal cooperation with other communities in other city. That's all.
Thank you very much. Very interesting, as mentioned. Very impressive best practices that you've shown, and yeah, would look very much forward to basically putting you in touch with other cities in Europe, along, of course, with the colleagues from Milan who are leading on this. Thank you.
Pablo, if you want also to say to all the cities here the important initiative of tomorrow, if you want.
Yeah, basically, I just wrote there in the chat that if you'd like to join this program of the European Union that was mentioned by Henriette, just feel free to drop me an email. I wrote it over there. And also tomorrow there is an information event for, actually it's more for European cities to see how they can apply for it. But if you, in the case of Asia and the Pacific, if you're interested in joining it, you may also do that. I'm gonna put the link over there. Yeah, feel free to join or just to drop me a short email. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Pablo. Are there any other question? You please feel free also to jump in and say it. Also, maybe Florence wrote, the Food Foundation are hosting a webinar series on creating city food strategy and then city food strategy for cities at the beginning of their strategy journey. I would like to share the link for the webinar. If you're interested in learning more about the series and your cities, you can find the email of Florence in the chat. Thank you for sharing this opportunity. Are there any other questions? Apakah ada pertanyaan? Okay, so I think this is all. I would like to thank you all the speakers for their important messages of cooperation and willingness to showcase their good practices. We are not alone. We have a strong stakeholder with us, and I think that this is just the beginning of all the opportunities and cooperation that we can start together. So thank you so much for attending this webinar. There is a huge participation from the Asia Pacific region. We are very happy about it. If you are interested to know more about the pact, you can write to the Milan Pact Secretariat at the email address that I wrote in the chat. So I would like to leave you by showing you a video of all the faces and the cities of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. Thank you so much.
We are the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.